Hello, friends. It's Phil. Now, yesterday I talked very briefly, and probably very incorrectly, that there was going to be warm, wet grass on the day. Yesterday it started at 6. The day started about 6 o'clock ish, and the weather was 6 degrees, right? And it was the 11th of April, 2023. Today, my friends. Oh, by the way, last night it tanked it down. I mean, it threw it down like there were buckets of water being thrown from the sky. And alongside that, there was a wind uh, rushing, let's say, rushing over the section of the region where I live. Which is, by the way, if you don't know where I live, it's in North Yorkshire, a place called Harrogate in the north of England. Very near to Scotland, actually. Maybe that's why the weather's so cool and damp. But look, it tanked it down, and the wind blew, and then it stopped. But it really tanked it down because this morning at 6 o'clock, when I woke up, there was evidence that it had been a relatively good lashing. Now, today I might have briefly optimistically murmured that the warm weather was coming. Well, it is, but it ain't coming today. Today, at 6 o'clock ish, it was 3 degrees. And it was a nice sunny start, actually. It still is at the moment. It's about 8:30. But the sun wasn't warm, which was quite surprising for the 12th of April, 2023. And that 3 degrees thing made things feel cold. I mean, proper cold, not chilly. I mean, chilly cold. And to some extent, let's say the lawns and gardenings are growing, but they're not really growing really the way you'd expect them to be growing this time of year. You'd expect a bit more vigour, let's say. So, today, it's really too wet after last night's downpour to do the job that I was hoping to do today, which is actually a levelling and regrading and small bit of turfing and a bit of seeding. Kind of a comprehensive lawn job. And the thing about that lawn job, Bob, just for reference, is the garden's about just under an acre, I'd say, or the property lives on a garden that's about an acre, maybe about 1,000 square meters, depending on which language you prefer. And it's been developed over the last 2 or 3 years, I'd say, but it's coming close to the conclusion point, the closing point, the finishing point. And let's say the lawn makes the garden. The lawn is statistically in this garden probably about I'd say about 85% of the whole thing. So the lawn's really important, but the lawn's been used as a building site. It's been all over the place. And I'm the last contractor on site to pull it all together. Pull it all together. Sort the lawn out, sort the levels out, get the last bit of turfing done, get some new seed, set and regrade where it needs to be regraded from, let's say, extensive machinery being driven over the lawn, and and tidy up the edges. Make sure everything's tight and complete and finished. But look, it's not going to happen today because it's going to be too wet, and we can't really do the grading work with really wet ground because it would just turn into a wet bog. fog, so we're going to have to wait for some warmer weather to come, which, my friends, isn't going to be today, starting off at 3 degrees. So it's going to happen. I think today's going to happen a bit like yesterday. Um, it's well, this is the weather forecast coming from Harrogate, North Yorkshire. Beep, beep, beep. The weather will be sunny for several hours, and then it's going to tank it down again. I think the temperatures are going to go up a little bit, but only to the surprising levels of 6 degrees, after which it's going to tank it down with rain again. And looking ahead, the rest of the week's kind of looking the same. Maybe a bit more showery, little bit less cold. But the outlook for the rest of the week is looking pretty shy, which is not good. But let's say, let's say, let's say next week, my friends, spring arrives. And I mentioned it yesterday's podcast, the spring bounce. Well, temperatures are forecasted to come up to the heady heights of 12 degrees, feeling more like 16 in the sun, I'd probably say. But it might not happen. That's all I'm going to say. For today, my friends, it's still about 3-ish, 4-ish degrees. It's around about 8:30 in the morning, nearly 9. And let's just say there are better, warmer days to come. Being absolutely optimistic. Anyway, my friends, have a wonderful Wednesday. I'll catch you again soon. Take care. Ta-da. Bye.